cans of soup. Soup. And they throw the cans of soup. That's better than a brick because you can't throw a brick, it's too heavy. But a can of soup, you can really put some power into that, right? And then when they get caught, they say, no, this is soup for my family. They're so innocent. This is soup for my family. It's incredible. And you have people coming over with bags of soup, big bags of soup, and they lay it on the ground, and the anarchists take it and they start throwing it at our cops, at our police. And if it hits you, that's worse than a brick because it's got force. It's the perfect size. It's like made perfect. And when they get caught, they say, no, this is just soup for my family. And then the media says, this is just soup. These people are very, very innocent. They're innocent people.
That will enhance our underlying effort to accommodate the Russian oligarchs and make sure we take their ill-begotten gains. We're going to accommodate them. We're going to seize their yachts, their luxury homes, and other ill-begotten gains of Putin's kleptocracy. Kleptocracy. The guys who are the kleptocracy. But these are bad guys.
Everybody comes in your grandmother. Everybody comes in your grandmother.
You're a lying dog-faced pony soldier. You said you were, but now you got to be honest. I'm going to be honest with you.
They had a very bad original concept. It was carried out poorly, and the cover-up was one of the worst in the history of cover-ups. Very simple. Bad deal, should have never been thought of. Somebody really messed up, and they had the worst cover-up ever. And where it should have stopped is at the deal standpoint, when they thought about it. Because whoever thought of that idea, I think is in big trouble.
Try to figure out how we get them to have Pokemon go to the polls.
I am not up to the job. And I mean that sincerely. It's not like, whoa.
users, and welcome to another episode of the goddamn Max. I'm talking to the TV again, Max. I'm talking to the TV. Max is not aware of what a TV is and why I would be talking to the television, but he is a dog, and so that's Max. I'm talking to the TV. Look at him. Look at him. This is my dog. Anyway, hello users, and we got a show today lined up. I lined it up, and now I'm lining it on. Okay. Got a show today. There's a show that I'm doing, and I did it today. So that's cool. That's good news. And so how's everyone feeling? What's the vibe? What's the vibe? Vibe check. I got like a line here. You see this? Did I like scratch myself? I got like a line on my face. Max, what the hell? Got a show going on. Today is the Above It All show 1691. This is September 23. And we're doing a show. I'm doing a program. Hopefully all of y'all watched Freddy vs. Jason last night. If you didn't, you're pretty much a fucking dumbass. And you're fucking stupid. And also you have a low IQ. And then also I'm going to ban you if you admit that you didn't. Because I watched it last night. I'm going to do a movie review at the end of the show. And should be fun. And I've got some news here. Some news items. Some itemized news stories that have items involved with them. And so we've got a show. So I guess the big news today is the shit going on in Ukraine. There is a so-called referendum occurring in the eastern portions of Ukraine that some of which Ukrainians military was able to overtake, but most of which is still under Russian control. They're going to do a referendum in Ukraine and say, hey, do you want to join Russia or do you want to be your own state? Great options. Where's the stay in Ukraine option? I'm not sure. But anyway, let's read this from NPR. So, this is from NPR. Let's read. A long line of cars pulled into the parking lot at a home goods store set up as a makeshift welcome center. People pile out of their cars looking exhausted but relieved. Some are crying. Many are smiling. Officials stop at each car, checking documents. This convoy is coming from the south, from places like Melitopol and Kherson, areas that have been occupied by Russia for months. We were waiting, hoping that the Ukrainian army would come and the battle for our city would begin, said 55-year-old Victoria Yermoleny, who left Melitopol with her husband and their dog. The dog is pictured here. But when we heard about the referendum, and we just couldn't risk it anymore. So here's the dog. I'm glad the dog is safe. That's the most important news here. Controversial Russian referendums have begun in the Ukrainian regions of Luhansk, Donetsk, Zaporizhzhia, and Kherson, some of which are only partially controlled by Russia. The voting is illegal under both Ukrainian and international law and is largely seen as a sham, as it's almost certain to result in Moscow's favor. But still, it could pave the way for the Kremlin to annex the areas, bringing them to join the Russian Federation. So, they did the same thing in Crimea. What they did is they overtook Crimea. They installed, patchless badgeless soldiers that were just wearing green uniforms, referred to as little green men by the residents of Crimea, that forced people at gunpoint to vote in favor of Russia. And of course, Russia's like, oh, great, they want to be a part of us. So then they annexed Crimea, and then everyone else did nothing. Like, everyone else was just like, oh, okay, cool. And so, that's one of the things that has led to this moment. Of course, I don't think anyone with a brain would see something like this and think to themselves, oh, this is a referendum. This is a proper voting procedure. I think that this is, hey, you want to join Russia, right? So we have our neo-Nazi fucking mercenary guarding, just so you feel safe when you're voting in favor of Russia. We put some neo-Nazis out there just for you, just so, you feel a little bit more protection. It could also begin a dramatic escalation in the 7-month war, as Russia could use the referendums to illegitimately claim that any attempt by Ukrainian forces to retake land is an attack on Russia itself. The voting is set to run for 5 days until September 27. It's all staged and it's all fake, your Mo Lenny said of the voting as her husband nodded beside her. She said that their neighbors who stayed behind had plans to hide if Russian soldiers came to their house to get them to vote. Quote, but that's not going to help anyway. The Russians are just going to write the numbers that they need and be done with it. Of course, with this referendum, as with the referendum in Crimea, the quote-unquote referendum, there's really no checks when it comes to, like, who's voting, how are they voting, like, is there any evidence that they actually wrote down on this voting thing? Is there any evidence that this person's even eligible to vote? In the referendums going on, the quote-unquote referendums going on, Russian military troops are voting in favor of Russia because they live in the independent region of Donetsk or whatever. Oh, I live here. Just so happens I'm a Russian military invader, but I live here, and so I get to vote, apparently, even though that doesn't make any sense. Of course, a lot of areas in these occupied towns have been, there's multiple reports of genocide and torture, a lot of Ukrainian civilians fleeing, right? So you go into a city, occupy it for 7 months or however long they've had, in each of these individual cities, right? You kill anyone that tries to fight back, right? That would probably be in favor of Ukraine, right? You basically make everyone flee that would be in favor of Ukraine. And then, a couple people stay behind. They're like, whatever, I don't have anywhere to go. And then they all vote for Russia at gunpoint. That's a good election system. I don't know, man. That's a good idea. Go in there, kill everyone that disagrees with you. And then everyone that you didn't kill would agree with you. And then you win. Wow. I love democracy. Russian news outlets confirm that door-to-door voting is how most of the referendums would be held. The Kremlin announced the vote so quickly that there was no time to put together key voting infrastructure, according to the Russian news site TASS. Rather than electronic voting, authorities will hand out paper ballots to residents at home. Ninel Lysenko, 67, was also fleeing Melitopol. She originally is from Donetsk and was there when a similar referendum was held back in 2014. I saw what they did there, and it was all staged, Lysenko said. I mean, what can you do when they come to your home? How can you vote when they have guns? Again, Russia is just going to claim that, okay, they voted to join Russia, it's democratic, and now that's Russia. And so whenever Ukraine wants to take back their land, oh, you're attacking Russia. Oh, shit. Drop the nukes. Right? Vladimir Putin has said multiple times, quote, I'm not bluffing on nuclear weapons. He has said if anyone attacks the Russian motherland, I mean, nothing says Russian motherland like a plot of land that just joined 5 minutes ago. That's the Russian motherland, right? When I think motherland, I'm thinking someplace that just joined the Federation like 20 seconds ago. That's when I think of motherland, right? So, I don't know, man. I think that this story is not getting that much attention because people are now, you know how humans are. They're bored. Oh, Ukraine war. I'm bored. I don't care. I mean, if anyone, where are the World War III fuckers at, If anything's going to lead to World War III, this fucking shit. Again, it's an illegitimate, illegal referendum, right? Everyone that disagrees got killed or fled, right? And everyone is being forced to vote at gunpoint, right? So, okay, Russia said, if anyone attacks Russia, we will use nukes. They're going to claim that this region is Russian. Ukraine's going to disagree. They're going to try to liberate the cities. Russia's going to see that. They're going to say, oh no, you're attacking the motherland. I don't know, man. If any the World War III fuckers, I don't know, where are they? I'm not much of a World War III is going to blow up the whole planet, imminently person. But if I were, I'd be pretty fucking scared right now. When asked, Lysenko admitted that there is some support for Russia inside the areas where votes are being held, mainly among older people who have fond memories of the Soviet Union, but that is nowhere near a majority, and many are being bribed with humanitarian aid or double pensions. So again, they're paying people to vote in their favor. But she even said pro-Russian support is waning dramatically. With this war, many people have realized what Russia really is. The referendum comes alongside Vladimir Putin's recent announcement of the mobilization of hundreds of thousands of Russians, which has set off significant protests in Russia. Pro-referendum rallies are taking place across Russia as the voting starts up in Ukraine, but local media report that pro-Kremlin activists, students, and pensioners were bussed in for the rallies, sometimes for pay. Voting is also happening at sites in Russia to accommodate Ukrainian refugees who have crossed the border, according to the Kremlin. Oh, really? So once again, there's no document, really, procedure for who's voting, how are they voting, are they eligible to vote, who even is eligible to vote. If Russian military, which has been documented voting in these elections, if Russian military is able to vote in an election in Ukraine, and they're allowing voting in Russia, I don't know, man. I don't know. Anyone that buys this shit, I don't know, man. You got to be pretty fucking stupid. I don't know what to tell you. But I don't know. If I'm afraid of World War III, this is the most afraid I am right now. Once again, illegal referendum. Russia's going to acknowledge it no matter what. Russia's going to win in their eyes. Russia has said, Vladimir Putin has said, if anyone attacks the motherland, there's going to be severe consequences. He said he was willing to use nuclear weapons. Ukraine, that's their fucking land. They're going to try to take it back. So, I don't know, man. Just throwing that out there. I don't want to freak anyone out too much. But that's what I call force the vote. There you go. Goddamn. Anyway, there you go. I don't know, though. I'm a little worried about the World War III. I'm not sure if World War III would affect me too much. I mean, unless there's like total nuclear disaster, which is possible. I don't know. I'm a nuclear coper. I'm one of these people. In fact, I'm going to turn this into a segment. Let's just have fun here. I'm a little high, by the way. So, a lot of people say, oh, nuclear weapons, World War III, going to destroy the whole planet. Okay. I'm a coper. I'm a nuclear bomb coper. I'm coping right now. I personally think there's a chance that if there's World War III and nuclear bombs are used, that there won't be a total societal annihilation. I'm just throwing that out there, right? So, let me tell you why. Okay. So, the motivated reasoning, I don't want to die. Right? So the cope, right, is so I feel more comfortable living my life. I don't want to die, right? So, if I can live my life comfortably, it's like the Pascal's wager, but with nuclear apocalypse, either I'm wrong and I'm going to die instantly in the nuclear apocalypse, or I'm right and maybe I'll die instantly anyway, but maybe some people will survive, right? Or I'm wrong, right? And I'll die instantly. So it's like, I'm going to die instantly either way. If the World War III is going to end the world, people are right. I'm going to die instantly either way. Right? So I'm good. I'm going to go out the rest of my, however long we got left, a week and a half. I'm going to go out and say, if there are nuclear bombs dropped, I might be okay. I'm just saying. I'm just throwing it out there. I might be okay if the bombs are dropping. I don't know. But, I'm just throwing this out there. we had nuclear bombs drop in Japan. We're still alive, right? I don't know. You know, we had the nuclear bomb testing in the fucking Western United States. We're still alive, right? So it depends on how many bombs are dropping. Let's say Russia drops a couple bombs on Ukraine. Let's say, you know, I don't know, NATO gets involved. They drop a couple bombs on Russia. Russia's throwing a bunch of nukes at NATO. Maybe a couple hit the US. Personally, I'm not next to any really major cities. I don't know if they're going to target Washington, D.C. I'm not that close to Washington, D.C. Where else would they target? They might target like California, you know. I'm just going out there and saying I might be okay. I might be okay. If there's nuclear bombs being dropped, I think I'll be okay. And guess what? Pascal's wager, right? If I'm wrong, I'm going to die. If you're right, I'm going to die. So I'm going to go down coping. So, that's my position on nuclear apocalypse. It might turn into like a Fallout scenario. Y'all ever play Fallout 3? I should do a Fallout 3 playthrough. Does that count as a horror game? Maybe. I mean, that's pretty horrifying. Does Fallout 3 count as a horror game? I'm gonna Google this. I'm gonna do a Fallout. You know, this could be fun. This is gonna be fun. Nuclear apocalypse. I'm gonna wander around in the street. You know. Is Fallout 3 technically a horror game? Like, because it should be. Anyway, yes, so I'm coping. The nuclear bombs will not affect me because I plan on living till 200. Right, so again, I'm going to be one of those motherfuckers. Right, I'm going to get the bomb dropped, you know, 400 miles away from me. I'll be fine. Maybe get some fallout. I'll jump in the basement, right? I'll be good. Right? I'll come out and I'm going to rebuild society, motherfucker. I'm going to rebuild fucking motherfucking society. And so, hey, I don't know about you, but you can go die if you're living in California, if you're in New York, you're in Washington, D.C., you're going to fucking die. And I'm not, and you can cope about it, and maybe someone can seethe about these things. Letterhack says, personally, I've always wanted to wander around in the street. That's what's super fun about protesting. When I was doing all the protest stuff last year, is that they just shut down the whole city. So you can basically just do whatever the fuck you want. It's pretty great. But yeah, I personally think, I don't know, man. I'll wait and see. Let's see what happens with the first bomb. Right, the theory. Let's talk about the theory of nuclear annihilation. Right, the theory of mutually assured destruction. Let's talk about this. Okay. Ukraine tries to fight against Russia because Russia claims the referendum is now it's Russia now. Ukraine says that's Ukraine. They fight. Right, they attack, quote unquote, the Russian motherland. Vladimir Putin's like, all right, bitch, we're nuking you. All right, Ukraine gets nuked. Okay? First of all, I just want to say, I don't live in Ukraine, so... throwing that out there. Ukraine gets nuked. You think NATO's going to respond? Is NATO going to respond? Well, NATO has said it would be a violation of their Article 5, which would be a direct attack on NATO, if there's nuclear fallout that enters anything in the NATO border. But right now, we're seeing NATO, they're not really doing much. Let's be honest. Now, again, you know, I think if NATO did get attacked, I think that they would do a little bit. But as of right now, NATO's really trying everything that they can to get the fuck out of this conflict, right? And so, okay, Russia, boom, nukes Ukraine. Ukraine's gone. Hey, I just want to say, I live in the U.S. I'm good, okay? All right, let's say Germany is getting some fallout radiation. They're like, oh, fuck. All right, NATO, Article 5, let's go to war. Okay, all right. So NATO is going to blow up Russia. Russia's going to blow up NATO. Now, my question is, now I know... we got some long-range missiles on this bitch, right? We got some long-range missiles on this bitch. So we're probably going to have some shit happen in the U.S. Now, again, I think the border, right? Like the California, the New York, the Washington, right? I think those are way like more dangerous areas if you're in the U.S. Now, is Russia going to target fucking, you know, I don't know, Ohio, Indiana, Illinois? Maybe, but probably not, right? But they're probably also going to focus a lot of their nukes on Europe. Now, I don't know what China's going to do. China can either, take advantage of this and blow up the country. I'm more afraid of China. If China steps in, I think that they could fuck us up a little bit more. They might take advantage of the situation and fuck us up, right? So, okay. All right. So, I just want to say, I'll be fine. It's going to have some nuclear fallout, maybe, deal with it. Maybe I'll, have some asthma. But I got plenty of weed, and I got plenty of booze, and I got plenty of mushrooms, and I am ready to ride out the apocalypse. So I'm just going out there and saying, I'll be fine. There's a nuclear holocaust. I'm going to be fine. And so, just throwing that out there. But if there is a nuclear holocaust, it could happen next week. Who knows? I don't know. Could happen next week. I'm trying to do a Halloween marathon. Every year when I do these spook-tacular events, this year I'm doing the spook-sixular. Every year there's always something that happens. My mom dies, my fucking dad's in the hospital, I fucking get sick. There's always some shit that fucking happens. Wouldn't that be crazy if this year during the spooktacular there's a fucking nuclear annihilation event? That would be some fucked up shit. That's some fucked up shit. So anyway, I hope that doesn't happen. But either way, I'll be fine. I'll be playing Silent Hill 2 in the nuclear apocalypse. I'll be good. All right, so that's the coping portion of the stream. Thank you for watching. Oh, God. Yo, is Fallout a horror game? Because if so, I might play it for the Spook 6-Lar. I haven't played a Fallout game in a long time. I don't know if it's a horror game. It feels like it's a horror game. Maybe I'll have to get some mods. Does anyone know any good Fallout mods that make it scary? Anyway, got a show going on. Doing a program. Today is the Above It All show. This is the show. This is the Above It All program. This is episode 1691 of the program, of the Above It All program. Check this out. Maxie. Max. 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 Where's your head? They want to see you. Oh, they want to see you, Maxie. Look at this dog. Look at this dog. Wow. 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 So anyway, that just happened. We got a show going on today. Today is the Above It All show, 1691, September 23, 2022. And it's the Above It All show. And I'm doing a show. It's called Above It All. And I'm doing a show. So, you ever scratch your lip with your teeth? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Anyway, let's talk about COVID-19. COVID-19 infections increase risk of long-term brain problems, strokes, depression, anxiety, migraines. Huh? Huh? But the pandemic's over, Jack. The pandemic's over, Jack. Don't worry about it. Reminder, the CDC, their default guidelines, they're called community levels, right? They have two charts, two ways of interpreting data. Transmission risk, catching COVID, and community levels, right? Now, what is community levels? Well, they factor in how many hospital beds are available. That's right. The default CDC guideline is if you get sick, you'll be able to go to the hospital, and therefore the risk is minimal. Also, according to CDC data, which is severely undercounted in my opinion, 82% of people in this country, human beings in this country, 82% under the age of 18. So if you're at 0 to 18 years old, there is an 82% likelihood you have been infected with COVID at least one time. That's at least one time. There's no way that they can track repeat infections. But at least once, 82% of people under the age of 18. That's fucking crazy. So let me get this straight. Kids being forced to become prisoners, sent to school with a deadly virus, get the deadly virus, right? And then it fucks up their brain during a key developmental stage, puberty, key developmental stage. Their brain's getting fucked up. Let's see. How does this fuck up your brain? So, stroke, seizures, memory, and movement disorders are among problems that develop in the first year after infection. If you've had COVID-19, it may still be messing with your brain. According to new research, those who have been infected with SARS-CoV-2 virus are at increased risk of developing a range of neurological conditions in the first year after infection. Now, once again, we have good news. The CDC Director said this. Good news. Only people with comorbidities are at risk of serious illness and death. It's great news. Now, we know, if you watch my show, you should know, 93% of Americans have metabolic syndrome, some form of metabolic dysfunction. Their bodies aren't working properly, right? So, I don't know, man. 93% of the country has a comorbidity. 82% of kids are getting COVID. It's going to create a lot of fucked up motherfuckers, if you ask me. So, a comprehensive analysis of federal health data reveals that such complications include strokes, cognitive and memory problems, anxiety, depression, and migraine headaches. In addition, the post-COVID brain is associated with movement disorders, from tremors and involuntary muscle contractions to epileptic seizures. Balance and coordination difficulties, and hearing and vision abnormalities, as well as other symptoms similar to what is experienced with Parkinson's disease. All right. The findings by researchers at Washington University School of Medicine in St. Louis. Why is there a Washington University in St. Louis? What the fuck, man? And the Veterans Affairs St. Louis Healthcare System were published on September 22 in the journal Nature Medicine. Our study provides a comprehensive assessment of the long-term neurological consequences of COVID-19. Past studies have examined a narrower set of neurological outcomes, mostly in hospitalized patients. We evaluated 44 brain and other neurologic disorders among both non-hospitalized and hospitalized patients, including those admitted to the intensive care unit. The results show the devastating long-term effects of COVID-19. These are part and parcel of long COVID. The virus is not always as benign as some people think it is. Overall, COVID-19 has contributed to more than 40 million new cases of neurological disorders worldwide. It's worldwide, not nationwide, so factor that in, right? There's a lot more people in the world than there are in the U.S. So we got an infographic here. I love infographic. Common effects: memory problems or brain fog, dizziness, muscle and joint pain. Now again, have you ever gotten you ever been injured? You know, like a couple of weeks ago or a month ago, I had this mouth sore thing going on, right? I was complaining about it every day. But you ever have some health issue, you hurt your leg, whatever, you don't walk on it for a week, and then it's a new normal. Yeah, I have to chew with the left side of my mouth, right? Yeah, I can't use my hand because I cut it up and it's in bandages. Yeah, I need a crutch to walk. You just get used to it. Right now, in these instances, there's something identifiable. Oh, I've got an injury. Oh, I've got a sore, right? I can point my problems at that, right? People get COVID. They recover, they think, right? The doctor says they can go home. 3 months later, right? They're still I don't feel too well. Brain fog, right? Again, brain fog. What does that mean? It's a cluster of symptoms that are really kind of unidentifiable. You feel tired. You feel drowsy. You feel and you can't really put your finger on it. That is way harder to really fully analyze compared to how an injury would affect your life, right? If you get injured, you break your leg, you're on crutches for 6 weeks, you're on or I don't know how long, maybe a month, 2 months, 3 months. you get used to it. You learn to live, right? You learn to live with brain fog, right? And what does that do to a population where an extensive amount of this population is going to just have a permanent neurological disability? They're not going to be able to think as rationally, right? They're going to be more irritable, right? We did studies in this country. Leaded gasoline. There was we can look at Flint, Michigan. There was studies done, right? Lead in the water in Flint, Michigan, leaded gasoline in nationwide, that we found that it reduces your IQ, right? And increases your likelihood and propensity to engage in violence, right? Populations, the generation previous to mine, the Generation X, right, who had to deal with leaded gasoline, there were studies that found that those people that were in those high leaded gasoline environments, like cities versus rural, or people that were in Flint, Michigan during the peak of the water crisis, right, have less of an IQ, more neurological disorders, and or have a higher propensity for violence. So you throw brain fog into that, right? People are not able to think as rationally. They're less likely to engage in logical reasoning. They're more likely to get irritable. They're more likely to engage in violence, right? When someone is like tired, right, they can get grouchy. Think about that. But expand that to this person is tired all the fucking time. So, moderate strokes, numbness and tingling, autonomic nervous system disorders, headaches and migraines, epilepsy and seizures, involuntary muscle twitching. I've had a lot of people that have told me that they've had COVID and they get a lot of headaches. So that's something I can say I've heard a lot of people talk about. Rare brain inflammation, spinal cord inflammation, prolonged muscle weakness, Parkinson's-like disease, drooping on one side of the face. So, I don't know. You can read the rest of this yourself if you'd like. It's a long, there's a lot more shit there. But I don't want to be here for 3 hours. But again, my analysis here is that, again, we're going to have an entire generation. A lot of people say, oh, the kids are going to be all right. The kids are not going to be all right. I'm telling you this right now. Like, I'm 26 years old. I dodged a fucking bullet on this shit. Right? I'm telling you right now, people younger than me, especially, again, under 18s in this country, under 18s, 82% have been infected with COVID because we forced them to go to prison. School. So, you don't think that that's going to create... There's a lot of young people, right? Generation exponential growth and so forth. You don't think that that's going to create some problems in 10 years from now? 15, 20 years from now? You don't think that having an entire generation with long-term debilitating illness is going to cause problems? I don't know, man. But then again, I don't know. Russia's threatening to end the world. They're going to nuke fucking the whole planet, apparently. So maybe we won't have to deal with that. But, Jesus fuck. There have been studies that said that about 30 to 40% of people that get COVID develop some form of long COVID. So let's imagine 82% of under 18s get COVID. 40% of that 82% develop some form of long COVID, right? We don't have fucking good medical care in this country. Our fucking hospitals don't give a shit about you. Doctors are overworked, understaffed. They don't give a fucking shit about you, right? So, just think about it. Think about it. I wish the brain fog could sort of zonk me out so that I'm not aware that I'm even at work. Yeah, you got to get into that fucking zombie state where it's just like, ever see Click? Where they fast forward through work and then all that stuff. I saw a study that said it was 40% develop some symptoms. Real on. I don't know if the 20 to 30 is more specific. But the most common symptom is like brain fog. But again, brain fog it's a hard to define symptom cluster, right? You know, you're just tired more often, right? You're more irritable. It's hard to really define that. But to me, like that is the most, it's like the highest like commonality and like the most nefarious and insidious, you know? Because it's like, you know, if you got headaches, that's at least something you could like, I have a headache. Like brain fog is really bad because you don't know what the fuck it is, right? It's you know, sometimes and I'm like, you know, getting, you know, doing a lot of, you know, and I wake up in the morning and I'm like, you ever wake up in the morning after a good sesh and you're like, you know, imagine that, but like all the time and it's not any of the fun parts, you know? So, I don't know, man. I think my brain fog is from leaded gasoline and DDT. Well, I don't know what DDT means, but there you go. Fibromyalgia knows brain fog. Yeah, there you go. Oh, the pesticide stuff, right? Like in the goddamn Godfather, when fucking Vito's grandson was spraying him with the pesticide gun. What the fuck was that scene, by the way? Just spraying my grandpa and then they pass out dead. Imagine being that fucking grandkid. You spray your grandpa with fucking pesticides and they pass out in the fucking tomato garden. I wouldn't worry too much about brain fog if I'm smoking marijuana on regularly. I mean, you know what, like, I don't have, like, a neurological disease, so I don't know. But, I don't know if weed would be less or more fun in that instance. Oh, all right. So while we're talking about the pandemic,
and what do you think of that? When you heard President Biden say the pandemic is over, and what do you think of that?
You know, here's what I can tell you. We're in a different place. Schools are open and businesses are open. We have a lot of population immunity out.
So I just want to say, schools and businesses being open, that has nothing to do with the pandemic. That's like a policy decision. But either way, this is the CDC Director being asked about Joe Biden's comments.
Very different. Our hospitals are not overwhelmed. People are back to work. Schools are open again. I think those are really critically important metrics.
Those are not metrics. Like, again, like there is no metric. Okay? That's not a metric at all. In any way. What the fuck? It just changed the video. Oh no. The Fox News video embed. It's gone. All right, I'm reading the article now. It's gone. Okay, we're not hearing what she has to say. They just changed the video on me. What the fuck? They changed the whole article. How did I get here? All right, I'm backing up. All right. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention Director Rochelle Walensky, blah, blah, blah. All right. You know, here's what I can tell you. We have a lot of protection from vaccination. Deaths are still at 350 a day, and they are way lower than they were a year ago, 2 years ago at the same time. Now, again, way lower is not the pandemic is over, right? You know, if let's say I'm a serial killer and I'm going on a spree, right? And I'm killing 20 people a day. Like, I'm like a super serial killer, right? And I'm not getting caught. Let's say I'm killing 20 people a day for like 6 days. And then the 7th day, you know what? It's my rest day. God had a rest day, so will I. I only kill 13 people. Is that the spree is over? The serial killer spree, it's over now. I only killed 13 people that day. It's over. Right? So again, the CDC Director is really trying to walk this line of, well, you know, is Joe Biden kind of right? Maybe, but I'm not going to say he's right outright. But again, schools being open, that has nothing to do with how transmissible and how deadly the virus is, right? Businesses being open, nothing to do with how many people are getting sick in this country. It's just nothing to do with that. And again, population immunity. The word immunity in this context, what does it mean? Like when I think immunity, right? Like let's look up the definition of immunity actually. Let's talk about this. The definition of immunity: the ability of an organism to resist a particular infection or toxin by the action or of specific antibodies or sensitized white blood cells. Protection or exemption from something, especially an obligation or penalty. So when I think of the word immunity, I think I'm good to go, right? Let's say you have immunity for a crime. Right, you can say, oh, I killed someone, and then the government, well, they gave you immunity, so you can't be charged for that crime. When I think of immunity, I think I'm good to go. Now, in this instance, right, we have a rapidly evolving virus. Most people's vaccination statuses are of an older variant, of a vaccine of an older variant, right? So we use the term partial immunity, right, to cover that, right? If there's a new variant, and it's not 100% the same as the vaccination you got for the old variant. That's why we need updated vaccines. Of course, I'm getting my updated booster shot in a week or so. Like immunity, like we don't have a lot of population immunity. We have a giant chunk of the population that is decently or partially immune, and a giant chunk of the population that has no form of immunity. Now, again, the word immunity, I really like the way that people use these words without understanding the definition. Immunity is like a kind of like a binary. The way it's defined, the way people interpret it is it's kind of like a binary. Either you are immune or you are not, right? But we are in a situation with a rapidly evolving and mutating virus, right? That we're not immune. We are maybe partially immune. We are maybe partially better protected. We may have higher levels of defense. But the way that like these people just flippantly use these words, man, it is irresponsible as fuck. She added, we are continuing to do everything we can, promoting these updated booster shots so that people can get the protection they need, while recognizing we are in a much better place than we were a year ago at this time. Now again, someone remind me, a year ago at this time? Like, the words that they use. A year ago, September of 2021, was pretty much at the start of the Delta variant spike. Right? The Delta variant spike was around the fall of 2021. So we're comparing numbers from now versus last year before the Delta variant spike. That doesn't really tell us much. Last year, the Omicron spike in winter, December and then January of this year, right? Like, those are the really dangerous ones. And then also, we have less reporting on cases. Now, deaths, pretty hard to undercount deaths, though I do think that there's some undercounting in states like Florida going on. But cases, we pretty much stopped counting cases. We haven't counted cases at all, really. But again, like, you have to understand, most Americans are fucking stupid, right? So when they hear this stuff, oh, you know, they don't remember what last year was. They don't remember when events occurred last year. They don't remember when these variants started to take hold last year. They just don't remember because they're fucking stupid, right? Maybe they got brain fog, right, from long COVID. And again, the flippancy, oh, the pandemic's over right before winter. I don't know, man. We continue to encourage people to do all the things they can do to protect themselves. Again, I love the word encourage. Encourage. We encourage people to not go around and shoot one another. Oh, great. Thank you for the encouragement. We have the tools right now to protect ourselves. You can get your primary series if you haven't gotten it yet. You can get year updated fall bivalent vaccine. And then, should you actually get an infection, we have tools like Paxlovid that you can protect yourself against severe disease, hospitalization, and death. Now again, protecting from death, that's great. Protecting from severe disease, protecting from long-term illness, protecting from long-term symptoms, those are different things. The idea that we should treat a pandemic in a binary sense, right? Well, you die, that's bad. You don't die, that's great. You know what? I would rather die from COVID than have to live for 70 years with neurological disease, like headaches, severe migraines, brain fog. I'm just saying. Right? This idea that we treat this in a binary fashion, you die, bad. You don't die, great. That's just fucking stupid. Like, we live in a stupid fucking society with stupid fucking people that don't know. Like, we have the English language. We have language. We can use it. But so many people say so many words and somehow nothing has been conveyed. Like, how is that possible? That you can write a whole list of things. You can say, like, several paragraphs and no information has been conveyed. If you look at the big picture, things are very different. Hospitals are not overwhelmed. People are back to work. Schools are open again. Those are not metrics at all. They have no metric as far... Again, 82% of under 18s have been infected with COVID at least one time. So, I don't know, man. This whole Biden thing with the pandemic being over, like, it's not over. 1. 2, it's like the 19th time that he said he's declared victory, and it's still not over, right? 28th time the charm, maybe? 3, winter's coming up. 4, there's a new vaccination, and there's almost no campaign of awareness. Right? I don't know, man. We're fucked. I tell you this, the future of this population, the future of the world, the future of society, the future of humans and logic and reason, fucked. They're fucked. We're fucked. We're all fucked. You're fucked. I'm fucked. And let me just tell you this one thing. It is not in the good dick way. I can assure you that. Now, you ask me, if I'm a benevolent dictator, right? Let's say Joe Biden knocks on my door. I've been called to serve, right? I am now the new Queen Emperor of the USA. Nothing else has changed. I just can say and do whatever I want and direct these institutions, right? What would I do? Well, first of all, I would do a mandatory lockdown. That's right. Your favorite restaurant, sorry, you can't go there, right? That's right. School, you ain't going to school. That's right. You're not going to work. Mandatory shutdown. Now, again, essential workers. This is a term we use. We need to have some people doing things, right, to keep society afloat. But I will tell you this much. Wendy's is not essential work. I'm sorry. No disrespect to people that work at Wendy's. You are not an essential worker if you work at Wendy's. You're just not, okay? I'm sorry. Grocery store workers, not essential workers. I'm sorry. You are not essential, right? Now, again, we shouldn't be going into grocery stores. We shouldn't be. I'm sorry. We shouldn't be. But we do have a thing called the U.S. Postal Service. So imagine, right, everyone in the military, because they're just sitting around fucking jerking themselves off anyway, right? Let's say they took over the USPS, right, and started delivering groceries, medication, right, anything, toilet paper, whatever people need, essentials, right, at everyone's doorstep. The military just started giving everyone free food, free medicine, free masking, all the things that they need. I personally think the pandemic would be over 2 months, tops, absolute tops, probably 1 month, right? But we can't do that because our society has, again, we have too many stupid people. That's one of the core things you need to understand about this, about America. A good chunk of Americans, dumb, fuck motherfuckers. They got shit for brains. They are not worth the shit on my shoes. I stepped in Max's poop the other day. They're not worth the shit on my shoes, okay? They are fucking dumb motherfuckers. Okay, I need you to understand. A giant population, giant chunk of Americans, fucking morons, okay? Absolute fucking morons. So, how are we going to solve a crisis when most of the people that we're dealing with are fucking stupid? Like, tell me this, right? How can we solve this pandemic when most fucking people in this country are brain dead fucking morons? We have slashed education in this country for decades. For decades. Our school programs suck, right? The food that we eat sucks, and it creates neurological disease, liver disease, right? It slows your metabolism. It creates brain fog. It allows you to not function at peak capacity, right? 93% of Americans have metabolic syndrome. They're fucked. They're fucked, right? So we have a population of dumb motherfuckers that have chronic illness, are poisoned, right? And can't possibly engage in rational thought, right? How could we possibly ever have a chance at solving this pandemic? We were fucked from the get-go, right? We were fucked from the jump. We never had a hope or a prayer. So, I don't know what to say. I think we're fucked. Now, that's what I would do in the alternate universe where I'm the Queen Emperor, but I don't live in that universe. So, you can't force someone to take their medication. It's just that simple. Education and systems to lift people out of poverty so they're not worried about their next meal is the baseline of what we needed to do decades ago. Absolutely. But yeah, I don't know, man. Like, we talk about the giant societal upheaval events, right? A pandemic, when you've got an entire population of dumb motherfuckers, you know? Like, when we're having essential workers... Like, I'm sorry, again, Subway is not essential work. When I think of the term essential workers, I'm thinking of, like, garbage people. Like, I'm thinking about, like, people that work at recycling plants. I'm thinking about people that work at, like, you know, the electrical companies. That's what I think about when I think about essential workers. I don't think about motherfucking the pizza shop down the street. That's not as... I'm sorry, it's just not an essential job. Like, the world will not break down suddenly if Mario's Pizza is suddenly out of business for a couple weeks, okay? Like, that's not an essential job, right? A grocery store, not essential. These are not essential. When I think of the word essential, again, we need to, like, again, with the English language, think about this, right? I'm just going off on a rant here. Think about the gift that we have. Think about the gift of language. We have language. We can communicate ideas with one another, right? Without drawing complex diagrams on the cave wall. We can speak to one another. It's possible. Yet, we live in a world where almost nobody shares the same language. Now, I'm not talking about, like, English versus Mandarin versus Russian versus whatever. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about people that speak English. I'm talking about people that speak English. We don't have a consensus on what words mean. I mean, take a look at some basic shit like freedom. What does freedom mean? I talk about on my show giving people access to healthcare, access to food, clean water, and I get conservatives telling me I'm anti-freedom? What? Again, a word as basic as freedom, there is no consensus on. There is no definition of freedom, right? You've got millions of people that think freedom is like the ability to go out there and be racist against someone. That's freedom, apparently. Like, again, I was just talking about immunity, right? The word immunity is being used incorrectly by everybody, including top medical professionals. What do we do about that? We have no definition. When you ask the average person, about like what these words mean, you will not get a consistent answer. So we have language. We have the ability to have a standardized set of words and phrases and ideas that we can use to communicate with each other. And yet, we just choose not to use it. Isn't that great? So, I don't know, man. We live in a shit-fuck motherfuck country, in a shit-fuck motherfuck world full of shit-fuck motherfuck people. We had no hope at all to deal with the kind of pandemic like this. Have I ever heard of a dictionary? Dictionaries don't matter. When most people don't understand language, a dictionary doesn't matter. I'm sorry. Like, people ask me, oh, do you think the world's going to get better? No. No. We have too many stupid people. The world will not improve. Now, I will do my best to educate people in my limited sense. I get 50 people that listen to me on a daily basis for some fucking reason. I don't know why. Ask them. Right? So I have a very limited amount of influence. Very small. So I will try my best here. But, I don't know, man. I think we're fucked. Like, we have too many fucking stupid motherfuckers. Stupid motherfuckers are holding us back. The world has been consistently getting better over time. Yeah. I don't know, Saul. Try talking to a transgender person about that. And maybe they would have a different opinion. Try talking to someone who lives in Ukraine about that. They might have a different opinion. Try talking to someone whose parents died from COVID. They might have a different opinion. Whatever trajectory you're talking about doesn't exist anymore. All that shit was thrown out the window in 2020. All this arc of the universe bullshit, that was thrown out the fucking window in 2020. I don't know, man. We're fucked. If someone wants to tell me one possible way that we can unfuck ourselves, I'm listening. I'm fucking listening. A Western problem? What? How is the inability to communicate with common language a Western problem? What? These motherfuckers. I'm serious, man. We got some dumbass motherfuckers. The inability to communicate is a Western problem? Yeah, because people in Europe, they can communicate so well. Like, what? Jesus Christ. But yeah, I think we're fucked. So, under that presumption that we're fucked, my goal, make the best of it. Try to stop it in whatever limited capacity I can possibly engage in. And 3, watch it all happen. Yeah, and I read Johnny's comment, and that has nothing to do with the West. Like, what is this, like... What is this infatuation with the West? Like, what? Johnny Truon's message had nothing to do with the West versus the East versus the South versus the North Pole. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, motherfuckers have been trying to kill each other because they can't fucking communicate forever. Like, yes, the problems going on in Russia and Ukraine. Yeah, you know, it's a very Western problem. China and Taiwan not being able to communicate properly. That's a Western problem. You know, the West really has a lot of problems there. I'm sorry, man. But, like, what the fuck? Not everything is a Western conspiracy. But again, I don't know. Like, what do we do? Like, seriously, what do we do in this kind of environment? Where so many people are propagandized in such extreme directions, and they all hate each other. Like, what do? Like, what? How do you get us out of this scenario? I don't think it's possible. I really don't. I think the most likely outcome is that there is some gigantic societal collapse in some fashion, whether it be nuclear holocaust, possible, or whether it be like super virus, let's say the pandemic gets worse, COVID mutates and combines with something or whatever, like 5 years from now it creates an even bigger problem. Western culture and Eastern culture, Asia are greatly different. You don't see the semantic arguments on this side of the world? You're telling me that everyone in Asia agrees all the time and they don't debate semantics? I'm sorry, man. That is the dumbest fucking shit I've ever heard. That is the dumbest fucking shit I've ever fucking heard in my life. I'm sorry. That is fucking premier stupidity. I mean, China's fucking threatening to, like, go to war because, like, they're upset that an island doesn't want to be a part of them. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck? Like, I don't know what to tell you. This idea that, oh, the West, the generation of the West, like, that's not a thing. It doesn't exist. The whole world is fucked. Like, people that live in China aren't, like, these magical, like, Zen beings of pure intelligence. Like, I don't know what the fuck to tell you. But anyway, I personally have very little hope for the rest of the planet. That's just my opinion. I don't really see how you can live through the last 3 years and think otherwise, unless you're just one of the zombies. I mean, either you're the zombie and you're already gone, or you're pretty fucking scared about what's going to happen in this world. That's all I see. Those are the two options. We were talking about binaries. Either you are one of the zombies and you're going along to get along until it all falls apart, or you're looking at everyone else and you're thinking, holy fucking shit, what the hell is the matter with you people? And then no one's listening to you because they're fucking zombies, and then the world falls apart. I don't know, man. But anyway, that's the show. I'm going to be getting into the movie review portion of this program pretty soon. And by pretty soon, I mean like right now. So if anyone has any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to send it my way. This is the Zed Enforcer, by the way. Great username. As a veteran, I find it hilarious to see people talking about freedom as they build a thought prison around themselves. A thought prison? Motherfucker, what are you talking about? A thought prison? What is the thought prison that I built around myself? Please explain. You said thought prison. Now again, this is what I'm talking about with fucking language. With motherfucking language. Thought prison doesn't mean anything. Define thought prison. You can't. You cannot define it. Define it. Those are words that in that order have no definition, no meaning. Like, they don't mean anything. That doesn't translate to an idea. Thought prison? Like, do you listen to yourself, man? Are you fucking 3 years old? And if you're a veteran and you think you know, like, oh, I'm a veteran, so I know what freedom is. Motherfucker, what war did you fight in? Was it Iraq and Afghanistan? That's a great war for great freedoms. I'm sure the million dead Iraqi civilians are enjoying their freedom right now. Fucking thought prison. What is this? What is wrong with conservatives, man? U.S. soldiers are the defenders of the Constitution. When you practice censorship, you are violating yourself. Okay, first of all, respond to my question, the Zed Enforcer, or I will ban you permanently. Second of all, U.S. soldiers are the defenders of the Constitution? What? Can they defend me from the NSA? Can you defend me from being spied on by the NSA right now? Can you defend me from police when they abuse my right to protection against unreasonable Cruel and unusual punishment. Can you protect me when cops steal my shit? Like, defender of the Constitution. My asshole. Third of all, practicing censorship. Now, what did Andrew Kohler said? What does being a veteran have to do with this? So, okay. Part one. Now, this is, again, the language. Part one. Right. This is the conversation here. As a veteran, I find it hilarious to see people talking about freedom as they build a thought prison around themselves. Part one. Part two, Andrew Kohler says, what does being a veteran have to do with this? Great question. Very simple. Part three, when you practice censorship, you are violating yourself. The question, what does being a veteran have to do with this? The answer, when you practice censorship, you are violating. Andrew Kohler, by asking this dumb motherfucker what being a veteran has to do with thought prisons, is, quote, practicing censorship? Asking a question is censorship? Now, again, like, we're talking about these dumb fuck motherfuckers.
Only the really, I hate to say this, but those with the lowest IQ.
Did you get, like, fucking shrapnel that entered your brain, bro? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Tenzing, you dumb shit for brains asshole motherfucker. I said that after their chat message, you dumb fuck motherfucker. I just, again, right-wingers, man, they're zombies. They are zombies. They don't even speak English. These motherfuckers, they literally are unable to communicate with anyone who has at least a second grade education. Like, fuck, motherfuck. Fuck. We got some dumb fuck. And again, you asked them to converse. I'm asking this person to engage in a conversation, and they're constructing a thought prison around themselves because they won't engage with my free speech. You ever think about this? This motherfucker's accusing us of censorship, and they're not responding to me. That's fucking censorship. That's censoring my ability to debate. I'm being censored right now. Again, step one, thought prison. Step two, what does being a veteran have to do with a thought prison? Step three, you are censoring yourself. What? The pirates of Shanglu. Demonizing and dehumanizing your political opponents is what got Ukraine dead. It is fascism. You are all Nazis. What? So I am a racist because I think Republicans are stupid. That makes me a racist? How about Republicans stop being fucking stupid? How does that make me... What? I'm a racist now for calling Republicans dumb? Demonizing and dehumanizing your political opponents is what got Ukraine dead. So, okay, what the fuck does this have to do with Ukraine? What? What does this have to do with Ukraine? I'm making fun of a Republican soldier in the U.S., and now I'm responsible for the fall of Ukraine? What the fuck? And I'm racist? What? What? Like, again, do you fucking, like... so many words. How many words are this? Demonizing and dehumanizing your political opponents is what got Ukraine dead. It is fascism. You are all Nazis. 18 words, according to my count. And nothing, not a single idea has been conveyed. Not a single shred of anything that could be constituted as like a talking point, something to discuss, a subject. 18 words and nothing at all has been gleaned from that. Nothing. Zero. And I ask them to expand on what they're talking about, and they walk away. That's always the thing with conservatives, is they come in, they call you a snowflake, and you say, how am I a snowflake? And then they don't respond because they leave. What? Saul, no you don't. No you don't. You have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. Saul loves to be like the Ben Burgess logic professor. Actually, when you look at page 7 of the logic manual, it seems that, like, motherfucker, you have no idea what the fuck you're talking about? Why do you label everyone? I don't vote. I don't care about voting. What the fuck are you talking about? Neither do you, but you think voting in the USA is real. What? Okay. Why do you label everyone? I don't label everyone. When did I label everyone? I've labeled all, like, 8 billion people on Earth, every single one of them as a label? What? What? When did I do that? Second, I don't vote. I don't care. Neither do you. Yes, I do. But you think voting in the USA is real. What does that mean? Is it real? Voting, you think voting in the USA is, are you saying it's fake? Now, we can have a conversation about gerrymandering and, you know, how elections are, like, you know, we could talk about how, I don't know, maybe we should uncap the House, right? Because, you know, House districts are gerrymandered in such a way that, you know, it doesn't really matter that much. But the idea that, like, the voting is not real, what? I actually have a BA in constitutional law. Well, that explains a lot, because you have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. So clearly you went to college somewhere and someone taught you to be stupid. Pretty sure I know more than all of you. So you have a bachelor's degree and you know more than all of us? A bachelor's degree in some useless fucking shit fuck garbage where some stupid fucking bought and paid for college professor told you a bunch of garbage that you don't understand and you think you're better than me? You have a fuck, like, what? What? Like, can you speak English, motherfucker? English. You have a bachelor's associate in constitutional law and the motherfucker can't speak English. You have nothing but snide ignorant. No, I don't. I asked you several questions. You've responded to 0. I've asked you, when did I label everyone? How did I create the fall of Ukraine? How am I racist? How is voting in the United States fake? You've answered 0 questions, and yet I'm ignorant? Okay, so you're saying you have a bachelor's degree, and that makes you better than 50 people you know nothing about. And we're the ignorant ones? Let me get this straight. You complain about me, quote-unquote, labeling everyone. Labeling everyone. You came into my stream, said you have a bachelor's degree, and said you're smarter than everyone else. Everyone else. You're smarter than everyone else in the stream right now. So not only are you accusing me of labeling everyone, while you yourself are labeling everyone dumber than you, you're accusing me of snide ignorance by saying, I have a bachelor, I went to college. I'm a trust fund baby and I went to college. Oh yeah. What? You will speak as an adult? You don't, are you fucking typing out riddles, bro? You will speak as an adult. You don't get to demand anything from a stranger. You are a petulant child and a Nazi. Okay. First of all, again, you're attacking me for labeling. So under your own definition of what a Nazi is dehumanizing people and labeling everyone. You did both of those things. You did both of those things. You dehumanized everyone in the chat and labeled them all as stupider than you because you have a bachelor's degree, bro. What? Motherfucker. I'm telling you, these fucking people are so, like, this is what we're dealing with. Again, when I talk about dumbass motherfuckers, they come into the chat, say something stupid, and then go, you're triggered! I triggered the streamer! I said you're stupid! I triggered the streamer! Whoa, you got me, bro. I'm triggered. I got triggered. Great. Now what? Can we have a conversation? Great. Step 1, you triggered me. All right, I'm triggered. Now what? Can we have like an adult conversation? Is it possible? You're accusing me of being petulant and a child, and yet you're calling everyone dumb and calling everyone a Nazi and then saying lol triggered. So, you are all Nazis. How are we Nazis? How is Andrew Kohler a Nazi? How is Johnny Truant a Nazi? How is Danley a Nazi? How is the full clip a Nazi? How are these people Nazis? You're accusing us of labeling everyone, and that being a bad thing, and then you come into my chat and you label everyone? What? Russia turns of USA security soon. You will all freeze and starve to death. Motherfucker, I'm not going to be freezing to death. If my electricity gets shut off, which is not going to happen, I'm not going to be freezing to death, motherfucker. But what the fuck are you talking about? What the fuck are you talking about, bro? Triggered! Triggered! Woo! That's like going up to someone on the subway, and then you punch them in the face, and then they get really mad at you, and you're like, triggered! That's like you're sitting on a plane next to someone, and you just go into their ear, like this is their ear, right? Like this is the person next to you, this is their ear, and you go, and then they turn to you and go, hey, can you stop? Triggered! Triggered! Like, I mean, motherfucker, man. I broke my goddamn shit by smashing the fucking... Like, you're not triggering people. Like, this is like, you're like 3 years old. Like, you've learned that you can get a reaction out of people by being loud and annoying. If I just make loud screeching noises, people will react to them. Wow! Triggered! What? America is a Nazi empire. You vote, that makes you a Nazi. You participate in a Nazi government, so you are a Nazi. Bro, what the fuck are you talking about? What the fuck are you talking about? What the fuck are you talking about? Hitler was not elected on a liberal leftist platform, bro. You need to read fucking history, for Christ's sake. These motherfuckers, man. And now... but I need you to understand, this is the goal of the Russian disinformation troll farm shit, right? Because that's what this guy is very obviously. He's either a Russian disinformation troll or just someone so fucking stupid that they got trolled by the Russians so hard into becoming a free worker for them, right? So again, language, the ability to confuse people, right? I need you to understand, like when words no longer have meanings, right? You can use words as tools and weapons to confuse the shit out of people. Now, that shit doesn't work on me. I just make fun of them. But, like, again, like, I just want to go back to the fucking analogy. We're on a plane. Someone sits next to you on a plane and goes, ah! And then you turn at them and you go, hey, can you stop? And then they go, triggered! Ah! Like, I need you to understand, that's what this guy is. That is his whole purpose on planet Earth, is to be like a 2-year-old, like a toddler. Like, we're talking about someone that hasn't evolved out of being a toddler. Like, maybe 2.5 years old. You know what I mean? Like, what? What? The motherfucker claims to have a constitutional law degree, but then claims the USA is a Nazi empire, yet they went to school to protect the Constitution? But again, it's all about confusion. They want you to be confused, right? They want you to be like, whoa. They want you to doubt yourself. They want you to doubt your political beliefs. These are just dumb motherfuckers, man. I don't know what to tell you. But it's great entertainment. Thank you for that. So anyway, y'all, it's happening. Freddy versus motherfucking Jason. So I've only seen this movie one time. I just want to say that much. I've seen a lot of the other Nightmare on Elm Street movies and Friday the 13th movies several times, but this one I've only seen once. And actually twice now. As of yesterday, I watched it a second time. And I gotta tell you, Freddy vs. Jason, god damn, this is a banger. I just gotta say, this is a fucking great-ass movie. Oh my god. Okay, so first of all, this is like, canonically speaking, this is the 7th movie in the Nightmare on Elm Street series. And I think it's like the 10th movie in Friday the 13th, but it takes place before Jason X, right? And so the story is like, I just love this movie. I'm trying to figure out like where I need to start. So the story starts with Freddy Krueger, like basically he's, oh, woe is me, I'm depressed, no one remembers who I am, like, you know, being forgotten is worse than being killed or whatever. And so his plan is he knows who Jason is. So there's a shared universe, right? The Friday the 13th and the Nightmare on Elm Street's shared universe. So he knows who Jason is. He resurrects Jason by going into his dreams, because we know Jason can't die. He just goes into a coma and sleeps for a long time and then comes back and kills a bunch of people and then falls asleep again, right? So he goes into his dreams, pretends to be his mother, right? Jason loves his mother. So then Jason's like, oh, my mommy told me to kill people on Elm Street in this random town in Ohio. So Jason walks from New Jersey, because Crystal Lake takes place in New Jersey. That's in New Jersey. So he walks from New Jersey to Ohio, apparently, kills a bunch of motherfuckers, and then, like, the blame gets spread on Freddy, because people are thinking, oh, like, you know, because in Freddy 6, Nightmare on Elm Street 6, right? We go to Springwood, and everyone's fucking crazy in Nightmare on Elm Street 6, right? And then Nightmare on Elm Street 7, aka Freddy vs. Jason, Springwood is kind of getting back to normal. It's not sure how many years it's been, because Freddy's Dead, Nightmare on Elm Street 6, says it was released in 91, and at the start it says 10 years from now. So it's presumed that pit takes place in 2001. Freddy vs. Jason comes out in 2003, and it looks contemporaneous to 2003 as far as, like, you know, technology and culture at the time, right? But maybe it's supposed to be, it's kind of nondescript. I don't know if there's any dates involved. So you're telling me, like, how many years has it been? I think they mentioned like 4 years, actually, in the movie. I think they mentioned 4 years, actually, because the one character was institutionalized 4 years ago. So maybe it is 4 years. So maybe they got back to normal in 4 years. I don't know. Anyway, Jesus. So Freddy got forgotten, and so now he doesn't have powers anymore. So he gets Jason to go to Ohio. Now, imagine walking from New Jersey to Ohio, by the way. That's a long walk. You got to go through the Appalachian Mountains, motherfucker. That's a long-ass walk. So Jason, we can make a whole movie like Freddy vs. Jason, the prequel, and it's just Jason walking from New Jersey to fucking Ohio. That could be a fucking movie. That's a fucking movie. So anyway, so Jason goes to Ohio, and then he kills a bunch of people. I love the first kill, where it's like that motherfucker gets destroyed in the bed, right? And then the bed goes like, right? You know, that's pretty great. But anyway, so he goes to like a party, right? And kills the guy. At the party, everyone freaks out. They think it's Freddy, right? And then Freddy's like, oh shit, they think it's me. Then the cops are freaking out. And then there's like a new cop who's like from New Jersey. So he knows about Jason Voorhees, right? But he doesn't know about Freddy Krueger. So the new cop tries to get the old cop like, hey, I think this is like Jason Voorhees, the Crystal Lake killer. And then the new cop is like, no, man, this is like that guy we can't say the name for because it's Freddy Krueger, and that guy's scary. So then Freddy gets his powers back because people are freaked out about Freddy. And then there's like a mental asylum where people that have experienced Freddy are all given these drugs and, like, you know, taken away from society or whatever. And then people in the mental asylum escape. And then the motherfucker goes to school and is like, oh, Freddy! And everyone freaks the fuck out. Now, I just gotta say, next year, I'm planning on watching all of the Friday the 13th movies again, and I will watch Freddy vs. Jason again at that point. Right now, I'm watching Freddy vs. Jason as the finale to the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. And so, you know, and I'm going to be watching it again. Well, I guess Jason X is the finale, but that's not important right now. Anyway, next year, I'm going to be watching Friday the 13th, so I'll let you know if there is a next year. Who knows what Russia's going to do, right? But anyway, so goddamn Jason, right, is killing motherfuckers. Now, I think, like, Jason killed, like, 15 people in this movie, and, like, Freddy only killed, like, 1 or 2. Like, and so Freddy gets jealous. Freddy gets really jealous, because he's trying to kill someone while they're sleeping, and then he notices that they die and fade away in the dream, and then he realizes, what the fuck? Jason is stealing my kills, right? And that's, like, so the first, like, half of the movie is, like, Freddy and Jason work together to, like, fuck with people, right? And then the second half of the movie is where the Freddy versus Jason comes in. And oh my god, it's so good. Okay, so Freddy uses like tranquilizers to knock out Jason and then goes into Jason's dreams and then fucks with him in the dreams. And I love that battle when Freddy versus Jason, the first battle in the dreams. Fuck. damn, that shit was so good. Cause like, I love when Freddy's in the dream world and he pretends to be getting fucked up. Like, you know, like in every movie, I think, like he like they punch him or they like stab him and he's like, oh no. And then he acts like he's dying and then he's like, haha, bitch, or whatever. I love that shit. So then like Jason's cutting off his arms. He's like cutting him into pieces. And then like Freddy is like, aha, bitch. And then he grows his arms back and fucks him up. And then like, I love the part with the water, like, and then Freddy finds out that Jason's afraid of water. Right. But then Jason starts having like a fucking goddamn, like, you know, trauma dream. Meanwhile, by the way, Jason's body is being dragged back to New Jersey. That's a long drive. So the characters that are alive bring Jason to New Jersey because they want him to have home field advantage. Like, I know it's a movie and they're doing it for the movie because they have the first half of the movie in Springwood and the second half is going to be in Crystal Lake. I get it. It's a movie. They're doing it for the movie. But that's a long drive. They could make a whole other movie. Like, 2 movies could be spawned out of this movie. 1, Jason walks from New Jersey to Ohio. And then 2, the kids drive from Ohio to New Jersey. That's a long... You got to go through the Appalachian Mountains, motherfucker. That shit's crazy. Anyway, So they go to Crystal Lake. Jason wakes up, right? And then like Freddy's trapped in the dream world. So then the other bitch is like, knock me out. I'm going to go in the dream world and pull Freddy out like in Nightmare on Elm Street 1 and 6. So we're going to pull Freddy out. And then the Freddy versus Jason, the final battle happens. Motherfucker. I just got to say this much. One of my favorite parts of this movie is how, like, there's so much, like, new metal going on every time Freddy and Jason are fighting each other, right? Like, Freddy and Jason are fighting each other, and there's, like, fucking, like, you know, it's metal out the wham. There's, like, 17 fucking electric guitars. There's, like, 98, like, fucking drum players, you know? They're all fucking jamming the fuck out, right? And then like, the fight stops, and then the music stops, and then it starts back up again. I just love that shit, man. I just love that shit. Saul Youssef, your movie reviews are incomprehensible if you haven't already seen the movie. Then get the fuck out of here. I'm telling you to watch the movie the night before. If you don't watch the movie, this isn't for you. The content isn't for me. It's not for you, motherfucker. Shut the fuck up. So anyway, they drive from Ohio to New Jersey so that Jason Voorhees has the home field advantage because Crystal Lake takes place in New Jersey and Springwood from the Nightmare on Elm Street is in Ohio, right? So they drive, that's like a 7-hour drive, man. That's a long time. So anyway, so they go to New Jersey and then Freddy gets out of the dream and then there's like explosions. And so like Crystal Lake is under construction or something. I know it's a movie, right? So they just wanted to have some like random construction material. But why the fuck are they constructing a Crystal Lake? Can you just fucking shut that shit down, motherfucker? How many fucking Friday the 13th movies have there been? There's like 10 of those fucking movies and you're still trying to go to Crystal Lake? Come on, man. Come the fuck on, man. So anyway, there's a lot of construction materials. And then Freddy is in the real world, right? So in the first battle in Freddy vs. Jason, they're in the dream world and Freddy's kicking Jason's ass. And the second battle, they're in the real world and Jason is fucking that motherfucker up. Oh, man. I love when he chops Freddy's arm off. Oh, that shit is so good with the claws, the claw arm. It's so goddamn good. And so, it's just like, okay, so then they like, there's like explosions. So like the characters are just like watching this shit happen. They're like, holy fuck, they're fucking each other up. Right. And then they like start like blowing up like propane and shit. There's giant explosions. Right. Man, I just got to tell you, you got to watch this movie. Like, I don't know what to tell you, man. This is a goddamn motherfucking movie. This is a goddamn movie. I don't know what to tell you. This is a fucking movie. Like, it's just so fun. Like, watching Freddy and Jason fuck each other up is just so fun. And I am under the impression that there was going to be a whole series of Freddy vs. Jason movies, that they were working on Freddy vs. Jason 2, but then it got caught in development hell because of legal stuff. Another reason why copyright is garbage, by the way. If copyright laws were all abolished, we could have 28 Freddy vs. Jason movies. Just throwing that out there. But the ending when like Freddy's about to kill one of the main characters, like the kids who are still just watching this whole thing, they're just in the background. Like the first half of the movie is like, it's kind of basically just a Nightmare on Elm Street, like with Friday the 13th and the kids are the main characters. The second half of the movie, they're just in the background. They're commenting on that shit, right? Like, whoa. So then Freddy comes out of the water after this giant explosion, but you only see the machete, so you're thinking it's Jason, and then like it pans out and it's Freddy with the machete, which is great. And then Jason comes out the water with Freddy's fucking claws and then cuts him up. Oh man, it's just so good. I love this movie. I don't know how you could not like this movie. I'm not gonna lie. This is like one of the best movies ever made. I don't know what to say. It's just so fun. It's so fun. This is a fun fucking movie. It is a fun fucking movie. So many people die. I gotta talk about the rave scene. I almost forgot about the rave scene. So there's like a rave in like a cornfield, right? Everyone's getting fucked up. And then Jason comes to town. And like the scene we're at the rave where Jason just kills like 8 people. Like, he just fucks them up. He just fucks them up. Like, he goes to that rave and he's just like, bow, bow, bow. He just cut them all. I think he kills like 10, 15 people in that scene. It was crazy shit. Crazy shit, man. I love this movie. I don't know what to tell you. Freddy vs. Jason. If you don't watch any of the other movies, you gotta watch Freddy vs. Jason. Now, you gotta watch all of them. You gotta watch all of Nightmare on Elm Street. You gotta watch all Friday the 13th. Again, I'll be reviewing Friday the 13th next year. This year I chose Nightmare on Elm Street. But anyway, you just gotta watch him. Freddy vs. Jason is amazing. But it's also so much better if you've seen all of the other material. Because if you've seen all the movies, then it's just way, way more enjoyable. But yeah, so then the end, right? They're in the dream world, I think. Maybe, right? It's hard to tell. It's purposefully ambiguous. It's the ending. Where Jason's walking out of water, right? Like he's Jesus or something in the dream world. And he's holding, like, Freddy Krueger's head, right? And then Freddy winks, and then the credits roll. So the way I interpret it is, like, again, they wanted there to be a Freddy versus Jason 2, and there should be a Freddy versus Jason 2, by the way. I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting for it. So anyway, Freddy's still alive, but Jason basically fucked him up. Like, it's pretty much like Freddy got pulled out of the dream world and got his head cut off, his arms cut off. Jason fucked him up, man. So, I mean, it's pretty obvious that Jason is the winner here. Jason is the winner. Now, again, I personally prefer Freddy Krueger as a villain, and I prefer the Nightmare on Elm Street series to Friday the 13th. That said, Jason is the winner. He fucked that motherfucker up hard. Freddy got destroyed, man. Like, this whole movie is embarrassing for Freddy Krueger, right? And so I want to see a Freddy versus Jason 2 where, like, Freddy is the winner. Because the whole movie, right, the first half of the movie is, like, Jason is stealing all of Freddy's kills and Freddy gets jealous, right? And then the second half of the movie is Freddy gets fucked up by Jason. So Freddy is a giant loser in this movie, man. Like, no wonder he killed the franchise. Jason Voorhees killed the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. You wonder why there hasn't been a movie since Freddy vs. Jason. They did a remake, right? That doesn't count, right? There hasn't been a sequel since Freddy vs. Jason. You wonder why? Because Freddy's fucking reputation, man. Freddy's reputation got his head cut off. Anyway, I love Freddy vs. Jason. I love it. This movie, I forgot how good it was. I honestly thought that I wouldn't like it as much. But goddamn, Freddy vs. Jason. I mean, goddamn. Like, it's got a lot of cringe in it. Like, it's a 2003 horror movie, so it's at, like, the end of an era kind of shit, right? So there's a lot of cringe in it, right? A lot of the acting isn't great, but that's just what makes it better. That's what makes slasher movies better. When the acting is bad, when the acting is cheesy, when the characters are fucking stupid, that's what makes these movies so fucking good, because you don't want to like the characters. You don't want to like a character who gets their head cut off. You want to think, damn, that bitch is annoying as hell, and then boom, their head gets cut off, and it's like, whoa! Man, when Jason just stabs the fuck out of Freddy over and over again and cuts his arm, it's so satisfying, because the noise, the oh, it's so good. I also love the combined soundtrack stuff that they were doing, right? Like, where, like, the A Nightmare on Elm Street theme would play, and then it would, like slowly, smoothly transition into the Friday the 13th, like noises. It was just so good. I love it. Oh, man, this movie, I could nerd out about Freddy vs. Jason for, like, another hour and a half, but I think I'll leave it there. What a film. It's an ending to the era. It's an ending to the Nightmare on Elm Street series. It's the last movie in the Friday the 13th series, though, again, Jason X takes place after this movie, chronologically in the story wise, but this is the last for both of the franchises. Both of them got remade. I know that there's a remake of Friday the 13th. I haven't seen it. There's a remake of A Nightmare on Elm Street. I haven't seen it. I'm going to watch the remake of A Nightmare on Elm Street tonight. I'll let you know how it is tomorrow. But as far as the original franchises and all the sequel continuity, This is it. This is the end. Now, I personally think that they could have made a Freddy vs. Jason 2. Now, I know that there's like a bunch of legal stuff. Now, again, I call for the abolition of copyright just so we can get Freddy vs. Jason 2. But I'm down to see, like, you know, I want these franchises to come back, man. Like, they need to come back. I don't know. What happened? Like, when's the last time we've had, like, a really good annual horror series? Like, Saw? Like, Saw's been over for a little bit. Like, I think they have a couple updates every couple years now. But when's the last time we've had a really good annual horror, like, franchise like that? It's been a long time. I think Saw is the last one. Paranormal Activity, maybe? I don't know if they're still doing those. I don't know. I don't keep up with a lot of modern horror. But, like, I don't know, man. I'm here to bring back the classics. So, Freddy vs. Jason, I'm all in. Make a Freddy vs. Jason 2. Make a Freddy vs. Jason 3. Make a Freddy vs. Jason 10. Okay? Make so many more of these movies that I wouldn't even be able to watch them all. Anyway, there you go. I have a lot to say about Freddy vs. fucking Jason. Tonight, I'll be watching A Nightmare on Elm Street 2010, so we'll see how it goes. But there you go. End of an era. All right, y'all, that's the show. That's the show. Yeah, let me look at Paranormal Activity. I'd be down to watch all of those maybe this year. I stopped watching after the 4th one. Okay. Paranormal Activity 2007. Then there was Paranormal Activity 2, 2010. Paranormal Activity 3, 2011. Paranormal Activity 4, 2012. Paranormal Activity, the marked ones, I haven't seen that, 2014. Paranormal Activity, the Ghost Dimension, 2015. Paranormal Activity, Next of Kin, 2021. Paranormal Activity, The Other Side, 2023. I guess that's coming out soon. Yeah, I mean, kind of. But the thing about Paranormal Activity is they dropped the numbers. I mean, like, they kind of did that with Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare. And Jason Goes to Hell, The Final Friday. But, like, I love Friday the 13th Part 9. Like, I just love that title. There's 9 of these. Like, imagine you're at the movie theater and you see Friday the 13th Part 9 on the fucking marquee or whatever. And you're like, there's 9 of these I love numbers. I mean, that's why I have the number on the screen when I do these things. Like, above it all, 1691. Like, I just love numbers. I love adding. I love always going up. So I love, like I just love movies that they just play it straight. Like the Mega Man series of video games, right? You don't have Mega Man 1 and then Mega Man, you know, Wily's Final Showdown, and then Mega Man, you can now slide now. You have Mega Man 1, Mega Man 2, Mega Man 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. You don't have like Mega Man The Fall. You know, they have some subtitles. The Japanese games have subtitles, but there's always the number. They always got to have the number in there. That's what I like about it. You don't need the fucking, have the number, have the subtitle, do both. Why are all these movie studios and game studios trying to hide how many games are in the series? I want to know, am I playing fucking Assassin's Creed 26? I want to know if I'm playing Assassin's Creed 26 or Assassin's Creed 23. I don't want to go look it up and then say, oh, is this the 29th one? Is this the 15th one? How do I know? I want to know what it is by looking at the goddamn box. Season 2 of Above It All. We are in Season 2. Actually, we're probably in Season 3. If I were to divide this show into seasons, I'd probably say, well, maybe Season 4. I'll go with Season 4. We're in Season 4. Anyway, let's look at Saw. How many movies are in the Saw series? Okay, Saw 2004, Saw 2 2005, Saw 3 2006, Saw 4 2007, Saw 5 2008, Saw 6 2009, and then they fucked around. Then they fucked around. Saw 3D. No, motherfucker. It's called Saw 7, you stupid ass bitch. Saw 3D. Go fuck yourself. That's 2010. Then you have Jigsaw, 2017. Huge break. Huge gap. Spiral. I haven't seen Spiral. 2021. And then Saw X, 2023. There's going to be a new Saw movie? Holy shit. Saw X, 2023. I'm learning there's going to be a new Paranormal and a new Saw movie. Holy shit. But it looks like Saw X. So Saw 3D is 7. Jigsaw is 8. Spiral is 9. So they're bringing the numbers back. Okay, so Saw 10 is coming out. They're bringing the numbers back. Fuck yes, bitch. Reelon, 70s R's, episode 1691. Nice. Thanks. Yeah, we need to get some goddamn fucking annual horrors franchises back. We need to bring them back. I remember watching Saw every single year when that was new. Anyway. I'm out. Thank you for watching. I had a fun show. And I'm hungry. I haven't eaten breakfast. So, I'm hungry. I'm going to get the hell out of here. Thank you all for watching. Have a great rest of your day.
Read the polls, Jack. You guys are all the same.
I don't know who created Pokemon Go, but I'm trying to figure out how we get them to have Pokemon go to the polls.
And then they have cans of soup. And they throw the cans of soup. That's better than a brick because you can't throw a brick, it's too heavy. But a can of soup, you can really put some power into that, right? And then when they get caught, they say, no, this is soup for my family. You're so innocent. This is soup for my family. It's incredible. And you have people coming over with bags of soup, big bags of soup, and they lay it on the ground, and the anarchists take it and they start throwing it at our cops, at our police. And if it hits you, that's worse than a brick because it's got force. It's the perfect size. It's like made perfect. And when they get caught, they say, no, this is just soup for my family. And then the media says, this is just soup. These people are very, very innocent. They're innocent people.
Seriously, hot sauce. I've been eating a lot of hot sauce, a lot of raw peppers and hot sauce.
I am not up to the job. And I mean that sincerely. It's not like, whoa.